Dillon Danis. We all love a little controversy. You may know Dillon Danis as being Connor McGregor's sparring partner, or you may know him as the guy that recently backed out of the KSI fight. And if you don't know about Dillon Danis, well, you are in for a treat.
And he's going right at Dillon Danis.
Dillon Danis was born August 22nd, 1993 in New Jersey, and he began training jiu-jitsu at 15 years old. This would be after getting into a fight at school where he pulled off a choke move, giving him the confidence to start fighting more. Oh boy. Dillon was actually a very weak teenager. He even mentioned he couldn't even do a single push-up. And it didn't get any easier because all of his jiu-jitsu classmates were adults, giving him more of a challenge. But Danis would get through the Jamie Cruz Academy and go on to win one of the most prestigious tournaments in 2014, which would earn him his black belt in 2015. And in 2016, Danis would go on to become Connor McGregor's grappling partner in preparation for McGregor's fight versus Nate Diaz for UFC 202. This would end up getting Danis some attention, who had thrived during the McGregor training camp. Danis would also go on to help McGregor prepare for the Khabib fight, and at this point, Danis began feeling himself a little bit more, resulting in some conflict over social media. This would eventually lead to Coach Marcelo Garcia cutting ties with Danis, not wanting his bad boy image to be associated with his academy. October 6, 2018. UFC 229, Khabib vs. McGregor. There was a lot of emotions going into this night, and it was prime McGregor trash talk era.
I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
The fight ended with Khabib winning by submission, defeating Connor McGregor, but that is not where the excitement ended. After the fight was over, Khabib threw his mouthpiece towards Connor McGregor's team, causing Danis to begin running his mouth, which resulted in Khabib jumping out of the ring, straight throwing down a kick from the heavens. Some punches were thrown, and then an all-out brawl began. It was a pretty ugly scene, nonetheless great entertainment from my couch at home. This would result in Danis being fined $7,500 and being suspended for 7 months. Conor McGregor was suspended for 6 months and fined $50,000 for his role in the brawl, and Khabib, who instigated the brawl, received a 9-month suspension and a $500,000 fine. Danis would go on to transition into cage fighting at this time, and he ended up landing his first fight on April 18, 2018, which was a submission win over Kyle Walker. The next fight would be versus Max Humphrey at Bellator 222, defeating his opponent by armbar. That was all back in 2019, and Danis has yet to have a professional fight since. Danis would then go with the Paul brothers. He would go at Logan Paul first, saying that he would put up $1 million of his own money in a fight versus Logan, and he would start also poking at Logan's brother, fighter and YouTuber Jake Paul, on Twitter. This would then get Conor McGregor involved, where Jake Paul said that he could knock Conor McGregor out with one hand tied, and this would cause MMA fans to then start going after Jake Paul, all stirred up by your very own Dillon Danis. In September 2021, Danis would be out enjoying himself at the club until it resulted in him getting choked out by a bouncer who was a Paul Blart lookalike. It seems like wherever Dillon Danis goes, there seems to continue to be trouble. Danis was removed from the building at UFC 268 on November 6, 2021 after getting into an altercation with MMA manager Ali Abdulaziz, where he got himself slapped across the face. And then on August 27, 2022, Danis would announce that he would be fighting KSI in January of 2023, and this fight had fans very intrigued. In November 2022, Danis was at the weigh-in for the DAZN X Series fight, and Dillon would square up at KSI and say, "Knock me out right now," only 4 seconds later for Danis to throw a punch and then his coffee at KSI. Anthony Taylor would have some words for Danis outside of the event, and a punch in the face to follow. And back to that fight versus KSI that was supposed to be fought in January of 2023, Dillon Danis backed out of the fight, and according to KSI manager, it was for struggling with weight and being unprepared. Danis would comment on the tweet, stating that it was fake news. Danis reportedly didn't even have a coach. He has not found a team yet that wants to take him on. I guess that's what happens when you are more known for your antics than your craft, and Danis said he bounces around to different gyms to train and claims he doesn't need a coach and that he can train himself. Will we ever get to see Dillon Danis fight a professional fight again, or will we only get to see the Twitter beef and the street fights from him? Either way, make sure you subscribe, because on Brain Juice, we've got you covered.